Hey, what's up everybody? It's Matt Modi here with OddsJam, and in this video, I'm just going to give you my best DFS plays for tonight, specifically looking at PrizePicks, Underdog, Thrive, all that good stuff. Using OddsJam to find these DFS picks. So let's get into it. The first place I like to start for finding these picks is just the OddsJam positive expected value page. You can literally filter specifically for these books. So I have PrizePicks, Thrive, and Underdog filtered. So any play that is good for one of these books is going to pop up on this screen. And it's pretty cool because the way these daily fantasy sports platforms work is you have the same payout regardless of what plays you add for the number of plays you add. So it doesn't matter what player props you have, any two selection entry, it's going to have the same exact payout. So we can use that information to back out what the implied odds of an individual leg would be, and then we can just find value from there, which is exactly what the OddsJam positive expected value page does. It provides opportunities where you can get a good value on a player prop to add to a DFS play. Like this first one here, Jason Tatum over 4.5 assists. So I actually took his under assists for a positive EV play, but it also has value on PrizePicks as the over. So the most important thing to understand here is just the odds. The implied odds of minus 119 at PrizePicks is a really, really good price for Jason Tatum to go over his assist total. The no vig odds that OddsJam calculates has this at about minus 128. PrizePicks has the implied odds of minus 119. So you put that all together, and that's a really good individual leg to add to your PrizePicks entry. So here's the first one, Jason Tatum over 4.5 assists. The next one I'm going to look at here, and this is actually a hockey one, Gabriel Velarde under 2.5 shots on goal. So this is going to be in the LA Kings versus Calgary Flames game. The no vig odds that OddsJam calculates has this at about minus 125 or minus 124.5 if you want to round down to a half point. And the implied odds of a PrizePicks entry for one leg individually is minus 119. So this is another good play. One thing that I like to do before deciding if I should add a play or not is if you just look at where every other sportsbook prices it. So minus 119 is what it's at on PrizePicks. Look across the board where the other sportsbooks price it, the actual sportsbooks that have to price different odds for each play. Minus 148. Minus 147, minus 150, minus 140, minus 146. They all have it as the significantly more likely scenario in order, or they have it for the more likely scenario of this bet hitting than the implied odds of minus 119. So this is another good play to add. My second on PrizePicks. Another good PrizePicks one is Matthew Barzal under 2.5 shots on goal. So this is another NHL prop in the Islanders versus Senators game. Implied odds, PrizePicks at minus 119, and look across the board. Minus 141, minus 150, minus 143, minus 150, minus 152. Really good price here getting the this implied odds of minus 119. In this play, I should add this Gabriel Velarde one is also a good one to add on Underdog. So the implied odds for Underdog is a little bit different because the payout's a little bit different at minus 122. But with the no vig odds having this at minus 124, minus 125, still a good play. So that's 3 on PrizePicks, 1 on Underdog. And then I have a couple Underdog ones in a row. Dallas Goedert under 4.5 receptions. Underdog is giving this to you at minus 122. Their implied odds, it's minus 124 according to the OddsJam no vig line that OddsJam calculates. The Dallas Goedert one, people are probably going to scoff at because of how good he's been for the Eagles this year. But the Commanders actually do a really good job specifically against tight ends. So as good as Dallas Goedert has been this year, maybe this is going to end up being a game where they won't utilize him as much. And it'll be more of an A.J. Brown or Miles Sanders running game, stuff like that. But this is a good play in terms of the value. Second on Underdog, Dallas Goedert under 4.5 receptions. Another good play on Underdog is Devonta Smith under 4.5 receptions. So another player on the Eagles that we're not projecting to have a ton of receptions. This one makes sense in terms of just historically how Devonta Smith has been playing. He's not as involved as A.J. Brown. Now, I will admit the fear with this one is last time these two teams played, Smith absolutely went off, just torched the Commanders, but that's just one game. And the implied odds pricing this, the OddsJam line pricing this at about minus 124. It's a pretty good value considering minus 122 is the implied odds on Underdog. And again, look across the board. Minus 153, minus 145, minus 150, minus 145, minus 140. Across the board, all of them have it as a pretty likely scenario. So it's another one on Underdog. Last play for the positive EV play on Underdog. Reggie Jackson over 1.5 made threes. So this is another bet that I actually took individually. I took his over. I love it. I think it's a really good price. Pinnacle, minus 146. Bet Online, minus 141. DraftKings, minus 145. Reggie Jackson over 1.5 made threes. And then here's another play specifically for PrizePicks. A tight end for the Commanders, John Bates, under 8.5 receiving yards. Implied odds of PrizePicks at minus 119. Pinnacle, minus 149. Bet Online, minus 143. Across the board. So here's another good play for PrizePicks. Another way in which I find plays to put for DFS specifically, I like to use the OddsJam screen. So the OddsJam screen, instead of providing plays that you know are good, you have to do a little bit more work yourself. But the way it works is it just pulls up odds and the best odds for every sportsbook for a certain prop. So I'm just looking at player rushing yards right now and look across the board for where every sportsbook, this page shows you where every single sportsbook is pricing a prop at. So we see like Heineke, where every sportsbook prices his rushing yards. Gibson, same thing. Robinson, Hurts, Sanders. So a play that I actually like a lot here is Jalen Hurts to go over 39.5 rushing yards. And this is specifically on PrizePicks. The reason why I like this one, no other sportsbook. This is also a good one for Thrive, I should say. This is also a good one for Thrive. But no other sportsbook has his rushing yardage prop priced in the 30s. And granted, it's only 39, but still, it's 42, 40, 40, 41. That one went away. I guess they took it off, but 40, 42, 41. And the sharp books, like Pinnacle, has it at 40.5, and they heavily favor it going over. So not only do they have his over-under priced at a yard higher than PrizePicks and Thrive, but they also think that it's significantly more likely that he goes over this number. I mean, just look at the odds. Minus 145 towards the over, plus 110 towards the under. So this is a really good play to add to your PrizePicks selection is Jalen Hurts under rushing yards. And then there's one more that I'm going to add. This is in the receiving yards market, is Curtis Samuel under 46.5 receiving yards. And this one is specifically on Underdog, as you can see here, Underdog. Same logic here. Look where every other sportsbook prices it. 46.5 is what Underdog has. No other book even has this. The closest, I should say, is at 42, 4 full yards lower. And if we look at the sharp books, like Pinnacle has it 4 full yards lower, and they still favor it to go under. So the value that we have here on the Curtis Samuel receiving yards is just a really, really good play. So if you were debating between the Hurts or the Samuel one, I'd say the Samuel one has a little bit better value because the difference between the sports books is much higher. Now, I like both. I think both are worth taking, but if you did want to just choose one, this Curtis Samuel one is definitely better value. But that's going to be it for my DFS plays for today. So a bunch of plays on PrizePicks and Underdog for you guys. If you're tailing, comment on the video and let me know. But that's all I got. So thank you guys for watching and have a good one.